What is up, world? My name is Tommy Wilkes, and I'm a recovering addict,
Hi,
almost
Tommy.
10 months sober. Thank you, Tim, for that wonderful intro. The boys are back and looking for trouble.
It's
We
been a
are
while.
all about it. It's been a minute. Good to be with everyone. I am one of your co hosts here with Tim Snyder and Mike Oxley. And this is Talkin' Trash Podcast.
This is.
Welcome to our humble broadcast. We run this podcast as an act of service to those whose lives have been affected by addiction. We don't do it for profit or notoriety. We place principles before personalities. And I'd like to throw it to our boy Tim for a quick serenity prayer.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you, Tim. And there we go. Here is Mike Oxley.
Professional.
Yeehaw!
This is supposed to be Diesel the donkey.
Yeah.
Mike is not an addict, but has great medical experiences working in treatment centers and detox centers, and we are glad to have him. He is a nurse navigator and specializes in substance use. He resides in Atlantic County, New Jersey, father of 4 children, and also grandpa to be. Fan of Philly sports, boo, wildly inappropriate, and a stroke survivor. Mike, it's great to have you. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm actually pretty good. I had a little procedure done on my back this week. So far so good with it. My back really started going out of whack post stroke. So it's kind of the chicken or the egg. Is it my walking funny from the stroke has made my back bad, or because my back hurts and my walking funny? So we don't know. So after seeing the spine specialist, we decided to treat the back, and hopefully that'll get me walking better. And if I'm walking better, it won't throw the back out of alignment, so to
Yep.
speak. So I'm all in, and here I am.
There we
Yay,
Happy
Mike's
go.
Sunday.
here.
Yay, Mike and Diesel the donkey.
Yeah, man.
And we've got Tim Snyder, 41 years old, 1.5 years clean,
One and
also
a
a year and a half. Drug of choice, opiates, father to 2 beautiful women. Divorced for 2 years now. Worked as a graphic designer for a pro hockey team at the age of 16 years old. 3-time bee sting survivor.
Hey, listen, I'm a beacon of hope. I'm a beacon
Loves
of hope.
pudding and a huge fan.
Huge fan of pudding.
And ice
Yeah, ice cream, anything creamy.
and chickpeas.
Anything creamy I like, which is probably what ended me up in the hospital last week. But I'm okay. I was throwing up blood, and like my parents are like, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm just throwing up a little blood." They're like, "You need to go to the hospital." And I had a really weird experience at the hospital. I'll get to that later. Sorry about the white headset. My $100 pair don't work today for some fucking reason. So
Sorry, Vicky.
yeah, sorry. So if I sound off, it's Tommy's fault because I sent him my backup headset. Anyway,
I'll send it
nothing.
back.
Yeah, paying for shipping. Yeah, nothing with me. We had a fun episode last week, 10 days ago or whatever it was. Played some
Feels like
Jeopardy
forever.
and had some love. We got 1,000 views on that single episode. I don't know why it says plays and audience. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, that was 36. Episode
Wow.
36. We had 1,021 plays, which is unbelievable.
And that's just Spotify.
And that's just
Yeah.
Spotify. I don't track anything else. Like YouTube a little bit, but I don't even look at that really. Yeah, that's just Spotify right there. We're doing something. I have a lot of people contacting us to be on the show, and then and then it's time for them to be on the show, and they get cold feet. And they're like, yeah, I can't do it. I'm like, we're just recording it. It's not live. There are a million people watching it. But anyway, if you do want to be on the show, you're happy to send me an email, and we'll vet you, see if you're a good guest or not. But that's what we do with the communication with our fans is important. Tommy, you just got a delivery. It's in your mailbox, just so you know, like physically right now. Anyway, so that's me. I'm nothing special. I don't think we've ever talked about the fact that I worked at a pro hockey team when I was a kid. This is back in 1999. I did their webpage, I did their graphics, I did everything. And I'm like 16, 17 years old. They called me Timmy the Kid. So that's where I learned all the graphic design stuff. And yeah, but listen, I peaked early and it was all downhill from there. So is what it is.
Yeah, brother, the best is yet to come. Come on.
So anyway, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, we got to introduce our boy Tommy Wilkes on the stage here. Tommy Wilkes is a 37-year-old man. He's been clean 9 months, and he's kicking the shit out of recovery. His drug of choice is alcohol, and yes, people, alcohol is a drug. He was born in Dallas, Texas, Big D. He resides in Hotlanta. He went to Texas A&M. He's a big fan of the Aggies. He's a very diverse human being. He's a consultant and a accountant. He loves golf and tennis and whatever other yuppie sport you can think of. And he's extremely ticklish. So let's just make sure.
I wouldn't know, America.
Yeah, let's just make sure we're aware of that going forward. So yeah, I mean, Tommy, how are you doing? Like overall, like how you feel? What's going on?
Doing great. Happy to be here. I'm blessed. We're just, as you said, Tim, we're doing a great thing here, and wanted to give a shout out
Look at that.
to our boy Tim for these epic shirts right here. Talking
They
trash.
are sharp. They
Tim's
are
got
sharp.
his very sharp shirt, and doing great, boys. Excited for this podcast. Got a little Olympics going on. Opening ceremonies were last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. An updated medal count for you. Total medals, the United States has 51, and with 11 gold, 20 silver, and 20 bronze. And second place for total medals is France. But with the most gold medals, we have China with 16. So there's your little Olympic update. Want to give a shout out to my boy Austin Krajicek for winning the silver medal in men's tennis doubles. He played for Texas A&M University, Gig 'em Aggies. He partnered with Rajiv Ram, who played at University of Illinois. Ram is 40 years old and won a silver medal.
Wow.
They were up a set and a break, but unfortunately got broken back in the second set and lost in the third set tiebreaker, but he got a medal. And I believe the first Texas A&M men's tennis player to win an Olympic medal. So very cool. Shout out to him.
Awesome.
And yeah, some little other Olympic storylines here. We've got the Olympic Last Supper scene that drew some scorn.
Yeah.
The question is the parody really the Last Supper? I mean, it kind of looks like it.
It looks like it.
But some church leaders and politicians have condemned this, and some people on the art side are questioning if it's really the Last Supper. But who knows? I mean, people like to cause chaos, and that's the world we live in. And
It's true.
we've got a boxer that has caused some controversy, and I think Mike can shed a little more light on this for us.
Yeah, what's up? Mike with this guy, girl.
Basically, this female boxer in the welterweight class was banned from boxing last year from the World Championships. And the reason was during a routine blood test came out with an XY chromosome, which means she is a man. So they banned her. This year, she resubmitted the same credentials to the IOC, the International Olympics Committee, and they found no evidence of this supposed male hormone in her
Yeah.
chromosome. So when the girl goes out to fight the other girl with the chromosome in question, it only lasted 46 seconds.
Yeah.
I.e., Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
She knew what it felt to be hit by a man. I
Yeah.
think it's men hit 63% harder.
Yeah.
And she knew immediately that this was not right. And pretty much made her dizzy, kind of out of it, loopy. And she was had to pull out of the match 46 seconds in after this supposed Y chromosome male on national television, on worldwide television, basically punched a girl in the face a couple
I mean,
times.
listen, I'm all for equality, and it's fine. You can be whatever sex you want, but I think there's got to be a line drawn at some point. Like,
Yeah.
punching
yeah.
women in the face, basically. I don't
Right.
care either way if you want to be a donkey or a man or a lesbian or whatever. Do your thing. I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt. I am heterosexual, just by the way. But like, are they going to do things that men do and not do them as good or not? I don't know. Or do them too good? There's a thing with a swimmer not long ago, same thing. Men are more athletic. We are physiologically built to hit home runs. Women are physiologically built to have children. No, I didn't make the rule.
We're the hunters.
Right.
For years, there's been the ladies' tees in golf. Nobody's really complained about the men's tees and the ladies' tees in golf. Usually about 10 yards apart or something. I don't know. Tommy would be better to answer that. But that's been in golf forever. I
Yeah.
never really hear any complaints about that.
The,
That's just the way it is.
women's basketball size is smaller.
It is. Oh yeah, the court, like the 3-point range and all that stuff.
Yeah, the 3-point range is different too.
That's funny.
Soccer's the same. Tennis. is
Women
the
should
same.
have smaller balls, is what I say.
Here we go. They should have small.
No,
balls, absolutely.
Mhm.
What if they're post-operative? That are they? Are they not allowed to perform if they're
I
actually a man now? Or do people
I-
look at it this way?
or a man that's a woman now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it goes down to your chromosomes and how you were born originally with your birth certificate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's really, why do we gotta dance so close to the gray area of man woman sports? If you're a man living as a woman chromosomally, how many of that population are professional athletes?
You're right.
0.111. We've talked more about it already because it's definitely something's wrong. Something has to be changed. And if we can get along with the whole golf thing, men's and ladies tees, that basic, then why can't we with other sports?
Well, like that's what I'm saying. There's 2 bathrooms. There's a transgender bathroom. Like we try to accommodate people as Americans or whatever. We try to let everybody do their thing, but like when it starts infringing on people trying to do their best, aka that boxer girl, I don't know. You gotta check your morals at that point. I mean, anyway, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, that was well said. You're right, Joe.
So yeah, I mean, just what hits you at the core, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Olympics are. My parents. I was in the hospital, and my parents were watching the Olympics intently. The swimming and all that stuff. They come back the next day, and like, we're never watching the Olympics again. You're all about the Olympics yesterday. What happened? And they're like, oh, they portrayed the Last Supper, and it was awful. My parents are devout Christians, and they were pissed. I wonder if their viewership went down. Well, I guess it was the beginning. But yeah, my parents. Oh my God, they're so good, and they're like, no way, we're not doing that. So
It was entertainment
It
because we're
was,
still talking about it a week
yeah,
Yeah,
later, right?
that's true.
yeah.
Isn't that what they wanted?
There
That's
you
So
go.
true.
the more we talk about it, the more that's what they wanted. So
Where's France on the map?
In
It,
Europe,
I know it's in Europe.
by
It's
Italy and Spain.
right. It's connected
it's
to
west
the
of
two.
Germany.
You're right. Okay. Just wondering, the Vatican and all that stuff. So anyway, that's
Monte
about
Carlo.
that. Monte Carlo, yeah. Um, anyway, we have a good show for you here. We're going to talk about a somewhat serious topic, and we'll segue right into it. Faith-based recovery. I mean, we show all sides, and I'm all for spirituality and faith and religion, but how it tunes into recovery, I'm still up in the air. I see it all the time, and I believe it, but some people it turns people off. Whatever. We're gonna get to it. So let's look at a couple of highlights from last episode. We had a fun episode and some good stuff. So let's take a look at, I don't know, let's see. I'm so prepared this episode. Let's take a look at Tommy's short real quick here.
I
How
mean,
about,
you talk about being grateful, and like I'm so grateful for where I'm at, and I'm blessed, man. I mean, I'm lucky that I have a support system around me, to keep this going. And like you said, I raised my hand, and I knew I needed help, from the outside. I mean, I can't do this alone. And so, I'm blessed for the two programs I went to, and, working the 12 steps and starting to sponsor guys. And so it's really cool. And, being a part of this
I'll
podcast
add in
is
there
special.
that
And, we're here, doing a great thing. I just truly believe that. And, this is just some great stuff. So,
we like the donuts?
yeah, I do like the
yeah,
donut.
I
yeah,
thought it was great, Tommy, talking about
yeah,
gratitude. If you're not grateful for something, it goes by the wayside. You got to be grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the things I'm allowed to be grateful for, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I know what I'm grateful for, what I should be grateful for, what's out of my hands, and that the third part is the hard part, the wisdom to know the difference. I can change this, I can't change that. I'm grateful for what I changed, and I'm okay with not being grateful for what's not going my way. I can't act upon it and be a negative person, but you're allowed to be not ungrateful, but not have gratitude towards something that is actually a detriment to your recovery. So you just got to be careful as far as what where you're putting your attention in your gratitude spectrum.
yeah. I'd like to share, with our podcast, something that happened pretty recently that I'm grateful for. I was able to be a part of getting a friend to treatment, and he's going through a lot in his life, and he admitted to impact yesterday,
Mm.
and so he's starting his recovery journey this week, and so he went through detox in Texas, and then worked with the family this week and involved impact, and they were instrumental in working with the family, and they ended up deciding to go out of state to for him to go to impact. And so it's I'm grateful because it was because a lot of it was because of my journey, that why they reached out to me,
Yep.
and why the family reached out to me. And so I was able to speak in to the family, and share my experience and share the impact I had, the at Impact, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah, I do.
the great experience I had at the Impact program,
Well, it goes to
and
show, Tommy,
yeah,
like, Tommy calls and everybody jumps. I'm sure. Like it's Tommy Wilkes, as he was the best. So like your reputation as you're only 9 months sober, your reputation already precedes itself. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but at 9 months, you remember what it was like 9 months ago. Some people at 4 years forget what it's like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So you have this fresh outlook
yeah,
on recovery, and you're able to step into somebody's orbit and help them. And I know you were working hard on it. You were telling us about it. Um, that's what this show is about. Like, that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? And we've all helped somebody through this show.
yeah,
And Tommy did it yesterday, and that's amazing. Like they trust you enough. You're vouching for this guy basically
yeah,
when you call Impact,
yeah,
and they take your word for it. If he's good, we'll take him. You know what I mean? If they're not going to call Joe Schmo and ask him who do you like for
yeah.
recovery, Tommy Wilkes calls. He's got somebody out of state. It sounds very complicated, um, but you got it done, and it's frustrating. I've done it too through this podcast,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
But yeah, and
it's
then the other,
rewarding.
yeah, it is, and the family is trusting me on the choosing the program
Right.
that's best for him, and the best thing for him is to get separated and focus on himself and work in the 12 steps
Yeah.
to get down to the root causes of everything that's going on in his life. So
So you said he
It's kind,
detoxed. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
it's kind of an awesome responsibility,
Yeah.
and you have to be up to meet the challenge. I mean, in the medical, we have family that trusts our opinion on things, and friends being a nurse, but somebody that respects you, that's an awesome responsibility to
Yep.
have their welfare and their recovery. Kind of, you take ownership of it to a
Yep.
certain degree. I
yeah,
know ultimately they're responsible for their own recovery, but generally they're listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
and because you're a success. So that's where it becomes a tool for you, and just use it wisely, of course.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's an awesome responsibility.
Well,
Good for you, Tommy.
for you,
yeah,
Tom. Yeah, for sure. It seems like you stay on your side of the street for most things. You're 9 months clean, but you're not acting 3 years clean. I'm 9 months.
yeah,
I'm a baby into this. I've heard you say it on our podcast. There's been a few times in my life where I was 9 months clean. I was like, I'm the mayor of Cleantown. Everybody's got to bow to me, So like, I was out of my out of my where I should have been on things. I wasn't I wasn't being real. I was acting like I was, and it took me out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, good job, Tommy. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely, and that takes
yeah,
precedent over everything else.
Everything. This
yeah,
podcast is going to run regardless. Um, I mean, listen, if we were sitting down ready to start 4 minutes ago and somebody had a need, the podcast wouldn't go on. All our attention would go to that person, and we'll figure it out. It's happened a couple of times. That's what we're here for, So like,
Or we would record it and let everybody see what it is live to intervene and manage somebody's recovery for them.
yeah, for sure. If they were okay with that. So like, it's just, it's an awesome responsibility. Like one of you guys said, it really is. It's to have somebody. Honestly, let's put it this way: you have somebody's life in your hands,
yeah,
black and white.
no
Not
doubt.
treatment, this, that, the other thing, airfare, where you're going, how you're getting there, whatever. They're putting, whether they know it or not, they're putting their lives in your hands.
Yeah,
Like, they have a disease, they have a problem. That means they have a much higher chance of dying if they don't do something.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah,
that comes into our spiritual thing we're going to talk about a little bit. I was telling the boys before the podcast, I said, you know, if you, if you, you've seen death, you know what I mean? As addicts, we've all seen death. Me, I've died a couple of times. Tommy looked over the edge a little bit and was like, "Nope, I'm not going down there." So like, when you've actually seen death face to face or felt it, that will make you make you check yourself, and Why am I here? Why didn't I die? Why, you gotta be open and grateful, like Tommy said, to whatever is keeping you on this planet, because something is. So, like we said, if it's life or death, anybody in recovery. There's a lot of people that just want to, here's my problem, fix it for me. And
Yeah.
we can sometimes, because they're dealing with a lunatic drug addict fucking stealing all their shit out of their house. So, like, we can jump in and say, this is what to do. This is what I did, So, like, yeah, that's cool, Tommy. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you shared that with us.
Yeah.
Um, that's
He was, a little resistant at first, when the family came to the detox center they had already gotten flights and, didn't tell him beforehand. And
right.
so, he, was resistant. And I told the wife, and I was like, if you can get me on the phone with him, I think I can help. And so I got on the phone with him, and, after a short, probably 5-minute conversation, he consented and decided to go. And so it's an answer to prayer. And so, his journey starts now. And so I'm going to try and visit him, in the next several weeks, let him get through a few of the steps, and then go and visit Impact, and share my story to the group there, and
Amazing.
yeah, just be a friend to him. And
And,
but he's in a good
sometimes that
place, and he's in good hands. So, and the
sometimes that's
family knows that.
yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Just to have an ear to talk to, a friend. A lot of
Yeah,
people they don't have friends, especially at 40 years old or whatever. So like a lot of times people just need a friend to validate that they're
yeah,
okay. That they're
exactly.
it's just
Just one more little nudge.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
almost like Tommy, you were like kind of the Mandalorian, you know? You were kind of like, this is the way.
Yeah,
This is the way. And 5 minutes, he's on his way. And that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That's good for you.
yeah.
And good for the
It's
family
great.
and good for him that he
Yeah,
knew you to call.
Well,
That's really great.
yeah,
they made a damn good decision
yeah.
Absolutely.
to do it that way. Because
And
that
he's got 2 kids,
oh yeah,
and
okay,
so
yeah.
the wife is fighting for the marriage and the family.
Right.
And that's what we talked about last episode. How hard it is on our family members.
Yeah,
Some of
Right.
them will just shut you out, like some did with me. Some of them will step out and forgive you, even though they've lost sleep over you for years. So that it takes a, the family is integral in a recovery situation because that's you don't know what's going on. Now all of a sudden you went from up here being high or drunk to down here where everybody else is, and you don't know how to navigate that, even just emotionally with people. On, you know, it's and they just want the best for you, but you have drained them so badly that like that's it. Like a lot of them will shut you out, and I'm an example of that. I'm happy that I have the support that I do have, but at the same time, you know, it's family's tough, man, especially in addiction. All right, let's look on August birthdays. Yeah, it's a little birthday thing. Just exploded. Says happy birthday. There's confetti everywhere.
happy birthday,
And
happy birthday to you.
anyway, August birthdays. Matthew Dirk, Curtis, Alan Brooks Black, Tracy Catalani, Wendy Figger, and Mr. Lester. Brie Gladden, Mary LeBook, Disney Lawrence, Dina Ferrago, and
Such a
Dave
birthday.
Evangeline. One of our All right, I'm gonna sacrifice production value to go back and find Shannon Wakeman and Amelia Quarto. Happy birthday to you guys. Let's see. I've been in the hospital. My hemoglobin count is like 2. I'm like half dead. My headphones didn't work. Like I look like I'm playing Xbox. I look like I'm playing Call of Duty here. I had a rough week or so, but let me share. Let's see. Let me share real quick about Actually, Mike, would you read the August awareness for us whenever I find it?
Oh,
Yeah, we got to be
August is
aware.
a host of important dates. It's Summer Safety Month.
Mm-hmm.
It's a National Breastfeeding Month.
That's me.
It's National Immunization Awareness Month. It's Back to School Month,
Mm.
which is I thought was September, but
Eh, it's fine.
National Farmers Market Week is in this month.
So important.
So is National Peach Month.
Equally
Wonder if
important.
that goes with the breastfeeding. National Golf Month. There you go,
National.
Tommy.
There we
National.
go.
I'd rather be waterboarded than watch golf. Honestly, I just I can't. I just for Christ, I'm not good at it. I mean, I can drive a ball like 200 yards, but like I hate it so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, Summer Safety Month. It's August. It's hot. Be careful. National Breastfeeding Month. I mean, who doesn't like breasts?
That's right.
And feeding. So there you go. Immunization Awareness Month. Not don't care about that. Back to School Month. Oh, the kids hate
All
August.
about the
Like
kids.
as soon as you get
Right.
to 15th and then 17th and 25th, you're looking at that September 7th back to school thing. That's
I had to
brutal.
reread that twice. I thought it said Black Schools Month. I was like,
Here we
what?
go.
Whew. Go ahead.
So anyway, it's
Pickle box.
I'm happy.
No.
Tickly, tickly. I'm happy for the farmers. They deserve some recognition. Um, I like peaches, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm hoping my peach Georgia.
Georgia, the peach
Yeah,
state.
I'm hoping that my journey here in Georgia gets me some good peaches because I think they suck in New Jersey. I bet they're so good here.
I have
Um,
several hundred that are ready to be harvested. Actually, my wife bought
Really?
the cans to start her canning
Cool.
process. Will start in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, one tree is ready to drop, and the other tree is not far behind.
Crazy.
So we have
That's awesome.
several hundred.
All right. What I also want to talk about real quick is our listenership. What is going on here? Episode 36, our last episode. We had 1,021 plays. What? Um, our audience was 949. 950 people sat and watched our show. Actually, I don't know, like 400 people watched it and 500 people listened to it. So thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate your support because it helps us. It helps you. We're all here to get through this thing together. That's the point.
And
But
that's
yeah,
only Spotify.
that's just Spotify.
Yeah.
That's our main host. But Apple podcasts. We're on there. YouTube, iHeartRadio. I don't really know how to track all these other ones. I'm gonna have to figure that out, I guess. But I know on Apple Podcasts we are getting some uh, response based on they're moving us into different categories. We're like nonprofit. We're the 55th out of 5,000 nonprofit broadcasts. Tommy's setting off fireworks here.
For our
All
listeners.
right,
Yeah,
right
love it.
on.
Um, yeah, so like you can't complain. We're doing pretty good. It's probably 1,000 listeners because we haven't done a show in 10 days. One's been sitting there. But what I've
We'll
noticed,
take it.
well, yeah, we'll take it. What I've noticed is we're doing 2 shows a week. We're getting about 800 a show. A lot of stuff I don't count for. So I think we're getting about 2,000 people a week, and it's just growing. Like where I had to go look for people and friend request them and do all this stuff. I don't do that anymore. They find us. That's big. We have a
Yeah.
great audience.
Yeah.
They ask us for help. I mean, most of it is just get into a detox, go to rehab, and I handle those. But there's some I bring on here that are complicated. There's some I hand off to the boys. We're here for our audience, and our audience is family members, people who need more information about addiction. And the other audience we have is addicts and either in or out of recovery or just on the precipice of detox. Like they need help. I don't know any other podcast like this that does that. And I've looked. Yeah, so we're not about us. Principles before personalities. That's all it is. So We are. I'm going to share a a quick story. So I was in the hospital last week. Um, I went to the local hospital. They tested my butthole. Actually, I'm just remembering it now. The dude, I had to lay on my side, take my pants down, and he did a. He got up in there to get like a sample or whatever. He was in there. Like I didn't
But
like
you,
that.
but you were at the dentist. This is what I don't understand.
What? I don't understand what you're saying. All right, so
What?
the fuck. So anyway, long story short, I'm just stuck in this hospital. They're trying to get me a bed down in Gainesville, in the main hospital.
Oh, you're
And
in Gainesville.
I was in Habersham, and they were trying to get me to Gainesville. I'm kind of out of it. My hemoglobin's like a 6. They're giving me blood transfusions, all kinds of stuff. And I asked for my own medication, my stuff. And I brought my own stuff in. With my parents there, this nurse practitioner comes barging in, and she says, I'm just going to lay it out straight for you. He is drug seeking. He's asking for all these pills, and he failed for fentanyl. And she says this in front of my parents. Listen. So anyway, long story short, she got the fentanyl person wrong. I guess she glanced at somebody else's file, clicked on the wrong name, and I'm pretty sure which one of the guys was the fentanyl guy in the emergency department. But yeah, she pops in and says I fell for fentanyl, and I went on my own portal thing and saw that I was clean for everything. I've been in that situation before where I was on the spot, and me and drug tests don't get along. There's been times in my life where I've taken a drug test and failed for something and have been totally clean. So this one, like, listen, lady, why would I have buprenorphine in my system and fentanyl? Like, why don't you just take a second? So she saw that. She went and grabbed my bag of pills. They counted them, right? This is a medication I brought in to help me, not hurt me, right? They counted my pills, and they were like, "You're short on pills. You took too many." I'm like, "Lady, I have a pill case thing where I put 2 weeks worth of pills in." That shut her down real quick. But like, unbelievable. It's a weird situation, but I was calm through the whole thing. As were my parents. Nobody got worked up. My parents know I'm not high on fentanyl. They know there's a real problem going on. So it was a very strange
Tim,
situation.
I'm sorry that happened, but I can tell you from medical point of view, from when we had to send people from our detox
Mm-hmm.
for any kind of emergency, it could be a foot injury. Let's just say they slipped in the bathtub while at our detox and broke their foot.
Right.
From the moment they walk into an ER, as soon as they see that they have a history of drug addiction, they are treated like second class citizens.
Yep.
You get the worst treatment.
Yep.
You are treated like redheaded stepchildren.
Absolutely.
And here you're here for your foot. You're coming from a rehab. This has nothing to do with your um, addiction. It has nothing to do with the substances in your system. But they're made to wait. They're mocked. They're It's really hurtful. And I've seen it to go over to the hospital for a medical emergency, maybe coming off a meth, and their heart rate was just a little too high. I would avoid sending them as much as I could because I knew this was going to happen.
Yep.
Um, it would turn them off, and they would walk right out of the hospital, and they would not come back to treatment because of how they were treated by staff at the emergency room.
Yeah.
It was a real shame. Now, if you feel like that's not working against you, here he's here for his foot, and here you're here for some other issue, and she don't even know what she's looking. It's an addict. He's drug seeking.
Yep.
I've heard it 100 times. If that is in your file, if that is in any of your medical records, you are treated with the most disrespect I've ever seen. And whether you're white, black, old, or young, these nurses that are so great and doctors just roll their eyes at
Yep.
addicts.
Make sure do.
And they don't care if your pain is real, by the way. Sorry, that's my rant.
No,
But
you're absolutely. You couldn't be more right. I mean, this is great. Like, it took me back a minute to where I was in situations like that. Like, this is crazy. Like, Why now? I'm 500 days sober on Sunday, and like she thinks I'm on fentanyl. I don't know even what I couldn't get fentanyl if I wanted, and you know
And you're
it.
on Bube, which does she even know that you couldn't?
They
Right.
On what?
labeled it right on buprenorphine
Oh,
means it blocks opiates. You
Subs.
cannot get
Right.
high. You cannot get high. Um, so they took all this information, and I think when she saw that, or she, the other patient, but she thought it was me that failed for fentanyl. Boom, she's coming in. She breaks several thousand HIPAA laws by announcing my shit to everybody. I was insulted, but like I've been in this situation before. I just got to chill out. And I was calm. I
Yeah.
know I didn't use fentanyl.
It's a test.
And
It's really a test.
she didn't come back. I went to them. I said, I held up my phone. I said, "Do you see this? This is my thing." And the nurse was like, "Oh, shit." Nobody came and apologized. Nobody gave a shit. They just, I'm still a drug addict because I'm on buprenorphine. And, they don't care that you're 500 days sober. You're just not going to get the right care because you're looked down upon. And try to go
Second
to a
class.
hospital with Medicaid or no insurance and tell them that, I mean, forget it. They're not going to do anything. They'll pretend like they're drawing blood. But, like, it's sad. And that's the reason we need people like Mike and we need people, who are in addiction medicine to do what they do, because if they don't, those people are there for us. They're not there for the guy that broke his foot. They're there for the addict, and to have that differentiated is good. It's good that we have a higher level of care for people who are addicts because it's out there. It's not in the emergency room. Um, yeah, she was so proud that she figured it all out, and when it all settled down and she saw she was wrong and all that, nothing happened. They still treated me like shit though. I didn't
All the
I
time.
I didn't leave the hospital for 2 days. I would hear them talking outside my room. Hey, he's a junkie. He's the junkie one. Like,
Right.
I was really insulted, but like I didn't act on it. There's a version of Tim who would have jumped out of bed and cracked him with a bedpan, but like, not this time. I'm just gonna chill out, let it be. I know the truth. My parents didn't flinch. Um, I was proud of that. I worked
You
hard to
worked
be.
hard enough to earn that. That your parents, uh, Tim and Vicky, never batted an eye because they know you.
They do
I never batted an eye because we talk almost daily
daily. Yep.
in a
And
non-gay way.
yeah, well, a little gay. But
Yeah.
like you can spot it. You know what I mean? Like we think we're getting away with it, but our loved ones can spot it. They can see something not right with him today.
Right.
You know, there's there hasn't been one day since I've been here since October where my parents thought, there's something's not right about him today. So like I haven't been put on blast about addiction in a very long time. So to have that happen and
And you dealt with it well. You did. I mean, it never gets. It should never be okay. It should
no,
never be normal, and that's not how you're supposed to be treated. No matter if you have leprosy, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
I mean, you should get the same care that everybody else. And unfortunately, that junkie term, it is universal that they just look down and treat you like bad. They
yeah.
treat you bad.
Well, we talked in earlier episodes about what it's like when like dual diagnosis, all that stuff. We talked about a paradigm shift, whatever. I love that word. In medicine and addiction, how it's coming full circle, and one's with the other and one's with the other. So, to see it not be full circle yet, to see the other side of it, to see that you can be accused of using, and to see that that's still there because of a stigma is it's a tough thing to swallow, but it's probably always going to be there. It's just I
yeah.
think it's
Could
getting.
just to chime in here, Mike. Is it could it be viewed like because of the history of abuse that it's just a more precise slash uh, acute level of care.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate of like, okay,
No.
because of the
What are you saying, Tommy? Like if you walk into an
like,
emergency room, say I'm an addict, is that what you mean?
Well, like you're
A higher
saying
level,
you're saying you felt you were treated differently,
Hmm.
but that's because
not
of
a good different.
okay. So can describe that.
Well, making you wait, not answering your question, the physical aspects of rolling their eyes, not giving you what you want.
Okay.
Could you call the doctor and see if I could have some Tylenol? Oh,
Okay.
he's already drug seeking, Martha, and not
Okay.
do it. Just everything a bad nurse would do to a patient without
Yeah.
physical harm, of course. Calm down, sir. Calm down. Like, I'm not getting worked up. Calm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Like, I am calm. I keep telling me to calm down, and I'm not going to be calm. Oh, you
Yep.
see, they know what buttons to press.
Yep.
You're treated like you're you're treated like a secondary citizen. It's really. I wish you could be a fly on the wall in an ER in the middle of the night when somebody's having a drug related or non drug related emergency that has a history of having an addiction.
Well, how about
It's
this?
it's it's a shame.
I go into
Okay.
the ER with the GI problem, and I get a higher level of care. If I went to the ER with, I don't know, some virus, bacteria, pneumonia, whatever it is, you get a higher level of care. You get treated for that thing that you have, that disease you've picked up, whatever it is. But in addiction, you go in and you'll get a higher level of care. You get the boot out the door, and good luck with everything. The
They'll
only
release
thing
you.
the only hope that you have in that point are the medical interventionalists at the hospital. There are people that work and donate their time to emergency rooms and psych units to the addict patients, to the addicted patients, and they'll step in and help you get into rehab and all that stuff. So yeah,
This is why I mentioned that so many of us in addiction nursing have a history of it ourselves in our families, in our jobs, in our own lives, but we can relate. You know what I mean?
for
We
sure,
can relate,
for sure,
and it's really hard to see the way the 65-year-old grandmom that has a drinking problem is maliciously talked to and treated in the ER because she came from my detox,
yeah,
and she's coming for something totally different
yeah.
than alcohol today.
It's easy
It's,
to jump on that bandwagon and bang guys up because they're in addiction.
right.
But like you can't not to get the care. There's got to be some liability there. But like I don't know. I just feel like like people like us need to. You know what it is when nurses and doctors and stuff they put a label on you and they treat you a certain way. Um, those are people who haven't been touched by addiction. Like maybe they see it in the
Right.
hospital, but their son didn't die of an overdose. Their nephew didn't have a horrible car accident from drinking. Like they're not touched in the way other people are touched, and the people
Your
that
niece was sex trafficked and missing
uh,
for a month, and
yeah,
just, yeah, I mean, if you're not in it, I mean, I would always try and go with them, even when it was unrelated, because I'm a good talker, so I could go in there and be like, hey, doc, how are you?
yeah,
What we have here is, and kind of keep their heads to the grind, their nose to the grindstone
yeah,
about this is what we're here for. Everything else I'm taking care of across the street. We just don't deal with broken bones.
right.
So yeah, it's constant, and sometimes I was the buffer with the doctors
Yeah,
and the hospital. And I've tried to have meetings with the ER staff and the ER department with our detox to kind of bridge that gap and kind of talk and have an open discussion, have a meeting with the ER higher ups and my staff. They didn't care.
I was just gonna say,
Mm.
did it get
They don't
any
care.
any traction at all? No.
Nope.
So
Nope.
these are people who are separated from addiction. I actually met a nurse when I was transferred to Gainesville, who was an addict herself, recovering addict herself. Treated
They'll
me
come up to
totally
you and
different.
say, "I got you. Don't worry about
Treated me so much differently, like so differently, and it was a refreshing thing. I should have been treated that way the whole time. So it makes me sad that addicts don't have a chance going in the emergency room. They really don't. They're not going to be admitted. They're not going to be treated. You may get some IV IV saline or whatever, hydrate you, and they may give you a Librium so you don't seize on their watch. Other than
They
that,
will do the minimum, the
yep,
bare minimum.
bare minimum. So like, I'm not angry with healthcare workers, but you deal with it so much. I get it. Like, there's plenty of addicts that just end up in an ER. Like they didn't. I showed up on my own accord. I handed them my medication, so they got that right straight off the bat. I'm like, listen, I'm an addict. They offered me Ativan 3 times, and by the third time, I'm like, does it not say in my chart that I'm a fucking addict? Because you certainly knew it when you wanted to put me on blast. But now that you're doing your rounds, you have no idea I'm an addict. You're looking to give me 4 milligrams of Ativan. You're handing me a relapse 3 times in the hospital where I should be getting better, and you're putting an avenue in my path where I could be dead, like because of you. Eventually, oh, a little Ativan. Ooh, that was nice. Get out of the hospital. Maybe I'll go drug seeking from doctors, and it all ends in disaster. So I told them a few times, like, listen, I don't get how it works because I'm labeled an addict when it's fun for everybody to call me a junkie and stuff, which I heard outside my bedroom.
I
It's
bet you did.
it's fun for them to say it, but then when it comes time for medical intervention, like actual medical stuff, they drop the ball. They didn't give me my medications right. They went to hand me Ativan for the third time at 8 o'clock at night. I get pissed and the junkies being a junkie down there. He's all pissed off, and
Yeah,
I'm pissed off at
I
you
get
for
it.
fucking handing me my relapse. Piece
And
of
this is in
shit.
the country woods of western Georgia. You know,
Eastern.
like yeah,
Something like that.
eastern. No, it's western.
It's Western.
Gainesville?
Yeah,
But they got no teeth.
pretty sure.
It's Eastern.
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, you're in Eastern Georgia.
So anyway, I mean, to get on a
Don't go to
rant there,
Gainesville
but like,
Hospital.
holy shit, like that's night and day right there. They'll label you and accuse you of things, but when it comes time to medically treat you, they drop the ball.
Oh yeah. I mean, the bare minimum. That's why I tried not to send people to the hospital. I mean, obviously, there's times that I have to,
Yeah,
but even a missed stick in a vein, like they would get ascites, and the vein would pop out, and they would have these kind of terrible infections in their arms from a bad needle stick that left terrible scars, like you can see on Tim's arm. But that can turn into sepsis, and you can die from sepsis, and it can happen very quickly. So that was something that looked minor, just an irritation in the arm, but I would have to send them over there to get special antibiotics, horse dose IV antibiotics, to prevent them from getting sepsis
right.
and maybe losing the arm or dying. And they had their wits about them. And this thing happened 2 weeks ago. I'm just infected because you're seeing it.
Yep.
They didn't complain about it.
Right.
And that's where push comes to shove, where they would just be so disgusted. They would just say, ah, the hell with it, and walk out of the hospital and not come back to rehab either. They thought we were in cahoots, and we weren't, you know.
Well, one of our biggest uh, things that we tell people is advocate for yourself. And I get it. It's your first rodeo. You don't know how to, but like that's what we're here for. You're not going to get the care if you don't say, I need the care. It's just not
Yeah.
going to happen. Nobody wants to do
Tommy, were
extra
you ever
work.
taken to the hospital for having a blackout or for throwing up or having a reaction? Were you ever taken to the hospital by
I
a
was
friend in
not.
college? No.
No.
I was only taken to the hospital once. I should have been there 10 times. Like, I overdosed, all the whole police department's in our cul-de-sac, and I'm fine, then they leave.
Right,
I'm
right.
not at the hospital. Everything's done. He's fine. He gave him Narcan. But I was only taken to the hospital once under the influence, and it was alcohol. And I was being a crazy person. And, yeah, they took me to the hospital, and what did they call my room? The drunk tank or whatever it was? I just
Drunk
laid there
tank?
for 12 hours.
They call it a drunk tank.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So they just
Hmm.
made me feel like shit. I felt like shit. I'm hungover now, and they're asking me what I want to do. I'm like, I don't know. I ended up in a psych ward for 5 days, and then I come out and the world's upside down. So like, yeah, it's really tough to find care between. It would be nice if more doctors and more nurses were in recovery, but they're not. They see addiction. They don't see recovery. They don't care about recovery.
or they are and they're just angry. They're angry at themselves. They're, they got issues.
Yeah.
Ones that are and or know somebody and can be that nasty,
Yeah.
that evil to a patient that's sick. I never could. I just never.
I know.
It's like telling a kid, okay, well, the kid, don't put your hand on the stove. Don't put your hand on the stove. Put your hand on the stove. Ouch! It gets burned. You go to the hospital and be like, oh, another kid didn't listen to his parents, and you're going to sit there with this burn on your hand as a kid. No, they don't do that.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it's a whole different tangent, but by and by, the medical community has come a long way with addiction. The medical community has encumbered mental health into some of their treatment of addiction. They've even, brought in mental health into the detox process,
Yeah.
which is very new, very new. That was something you saw later, but those two being, in harbor with each other can
Yeah.
help, can help.
All right,
But when you got to send them out, it's not a good scene.
I know, because it hasn't changed enough yet. Like, we're talking about the change, addiction, and dual diagnosis and all that stuff. But I'm an example. It hasn't changed enough. I'm there. I'm clear-eyed. I'm throwing up blood. I didn't get the right treatment for 3 days. You got to be kidding me. So let's talk about Mike beating Tommy on Jeopardy. How much fun was that? Should I make
That
a
was
new one
fun.
and us do that?
Let's do it again.
Yeah, so yeah, last week we played
The Tournament of Champions coming up.
Recovery Jeopardy, and Mike won 1,600 to 1,300. And
Oh, that was like my SAT score.
yeah, I don't really know it. Yeah, so there you go. So we had a good time. We did fun things here on this podcast. So we'll try to figure out some more stuff like Recovery Jeopardy. We're just throwing this show up here because we haven't done one in a while. I've been really sick. Tommy's got stuff going on, whatever. So yeah, we're happy to be back. Let's see what else do I
New
have to
clean
do?
time.
Oh shit. Yeah, let me just get my wits about me and see where we're at. We make a script, but we don't follow it. So it being labeled faith-based recovery. Yeah, let's.
Sorry, I kind of took us on a tangent, and I didn't want to. But since you were in the hospital and
Yeah,
that
no.
happened, that's bullshit.
We don't need
Boom.
that. Yeah, that's a great. I when I wrote it down, I'm like, that's a topic in itself, and I can
Yeah.
keep going on it, but we'll shake things up. So yeah, let's do some clean time. We have to. We're gonna go 15 minutes over this episode. I can already see, but it's all right.
Ooh.
We'll let's.
But we missed one, so
Yeah, no doubt. So it's exactly what I'm saying. So where the hell is clean time? I blow this every time.
boom.
All right, so here on Talking Trash, we like to celebrate clean time. What is clean time, you ask? Clean time is the amount of time you've abstained from the substance you were once controlled by. So yeah, very important.
All right, we've got Brian Cobb, 33 days. Daniel G, 34 days.
Way to go, guys.
Both got 30-day chips.
Yeah.
Andres Estrada, 44 days. Eric Adap, 51 days.
Adaptable.
David D, 58 days, almost 60.
Happy birthday,
Nikki
Nikki
Starnes, even closer
Hey,
to
Nikki.
60. Steve W, 63 days. Cassidy B, 88 days.
Back to the future.
There we go. Jimmy Jigabo, 89 days. Tony J,
Later.
93 days.
Your boy Tony J. Happy birthday to
Maria
Maria Gladden.
Gladden, 93 days. Jared Black, 102 days.
Got past the 100s.
Frank Kinney, 113 days.
Good looking dude.
Mandy Jean, 133 days.
Love that selfie.
Not to be confused with Billie Jean. Jamie Michelle, 134
Not my
days.
Mikey B.
Michael B, 180 days.
Happy birthday, Ricky McVicker.
Ricky McVicker, 182 laps. Aunt Patty, 234 days. Craig Clippard, 242 days. Here we go. T Drizzle, 294 days.
He looking
William
Gucci.
Douglas, 297 days. Timothy Snyder, 498 days. There you go, buddy. Amelia Corto, 2 years. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amelia.
Stella Montez, 2 years.
And change.
And change. April Pritchard, 2 years.
And change.
Casey Baxter, 3 years.
Hey, girl, can you go? What are you looking at?
What you looking at? 3
got a problem?
years.
Lisa
Milton Welke, 6 years.
Girl. That's our girl.
And our girl Tina C, 7 years and 8 years this coming month. Bev Vance, 10 years, a full decade. Matthew Gillespie, 12 years. And there,
And
yeah.
good luck, everybody, and keep it up. The newcomers, we have Ingrid Andres, 20 days,
We hope.
we hope. Anthony Seals, 25 days. Way to get back on that horse. Ingrid said it was supposed to be super fun. I hope it is for her. So, if you guys want to be on Clean Time, drop us a line. Tim at trashpodcast.com or reach out to one of our social medias. You can see we're everywhere but your neighborhood bathroom stall.
Get yourself
And get some Narcan,
Yep.
please.
It could save a life. I handed out some Narcan last night at my meeting. So,
See that?
Good.
yeah,
And
it's
that's-
important.
And that's an AA meeting, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
That's good.
Most of them
I'm-
are, most of
Are
them
you
drug
still
addicts.
chairing?
Yeah, you do it twice a week all of a sudden. So,
I'm glad to hear it.
yep. I chair firmly on Sundays, but like this girl on Fridays is like, I'm scared to do it. Will you do it for me? I'm like, yeah. So I'm like their chairperson, idiot sitting up there, don't know what to do. So it's nice. We do the 12 and 12, and we do an open discussion meeting. A lot of people in there are drug addicts. You know, they are a lot of people court mandated, more than you'd see in New Jersey. I'm signing off on like 8 or 9 sheets, and they all sit in the back and don't listen. So good on them. Yeah,
It's all right. It's all right, man. They're there. Maybe a light bulb goes
Right.
off one night.
Absolutely
And
right.
they got to be in the building. Like
Yep.
my brothers have said, the doorknob was the main thing.
To open the door.
The higher power. Opening the door and sitting there was how it happens. You got to be sitting there.
You never
Yeah.
know. You just same thing with Narcan. You never know when
Right.
you're gonna need it until it's needed. So yeah, so that's that. We want to touch on. Oh, my friend at Health E Georgia. She's my friend. Her name is Elizabeth McKeon, and she basically helps people. Like it's a nonprofit organization. It supports mental health and sustainable programs for substance use disorder. They promote the use of peer support programs like RCOs and recovery, reentry, detention centers. So like, this is no money from this, nothing like that. Just we acknowledge people that are doing the same thing we are. She's doing it from a medical side, and she's always on the road, always doing what she's got to do. But she's awesome. I love her. We're gonna have her on soon, but yeah, I see what she's doing. It's important. That's where we get all our Narcan from.
I looked her up. I mean, the organization.org, when you see .org, it's for real.
Yeah.
They're really doing good work. They're
Yeah.
really doing. And this is in Georgia. Imagine if this thing was national. We wouldn't have the problems that we have.
So that's what she's trying to do. And beautiful girl, lady woman. She's
A lady woman.
she's a lady woman. Yeah,
Mhm.
not many of those left these days.
No.
So she's gonna be on our show soon. We're just I don't know. It's people like this-
Schedules are tough.
schedules are tough, but for anybody that wants to be on our show and are considering contacting us, it's not hard. we send you a link through text message. You click on it, you're on the show. Your iPhone is your camera and mic, so it's pretty easy. You don't have to come anywhere. You don't have to do anything special. You don't need any special setup. It'd be nice if you had
And it's
people listening.
us.
Yeah, it's us. You know,
This isn't an act. This is how we would answer
no,
the
this is how
phone
we
if
do
you
it.
called me right now.
Yeah, we don't piece these things together. We do it the right way. So yeah, and I mean, if you go to trash-podcast.org, it'll take you to our website. But yeah, I mean, is what it is. We have .org, we got .com, we got .net, we got but we got everything. So we pretty much covered the bases, and you can find us more on Google now. So yeah, our friend
And Facebook.
Elizabeth McKeon at Healthy Georgia. Also want to recognize the addiction support group. That's run by our friend with 12 years on clean time, Matthew Gillespie.
Oh, he runs that?
Yep.
Okay.
He's always commenting on our stuff.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
great
Matt.
resource. We're definitely getting uh, listeners from him. We definitely are.
That's great.
So he's a good dude. And we try to this is what we're doing. We're trying to
I saw something
acknowledge.
where I think he talked to Jelly Roll, or Jelly Roll was involved and reached out.
I don't know what that means.
He,
Jelly Roll is a musician.
Okay.
yeah,
So what?
evidently he had reached out to that group.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't realize that.
So
Hmm.
so yeah, he's a character, but he's good. He loves recovery. He's always involved in everything all over the country. He's
Out
New
of New
York.
York, I
He's a
think.
New York City boy, and I remember those days. I wasn't allowed in the city. I could just go in and come out, but they wouldn't let me. I would get into fights and things would happen in the city. So I don't like New York City personally, but Matthew
Same.
has made a life of it there. And anyway, we're just these kind of people we recognize because they're our supporters. They're the ones that say, "Hey, listen, this talking trash thing's kind of cool. You might want to look at it." So yeah, we're grateful for him. We're grateful for Elizabeth. We're grateful for what's coming up soon. We got a lot of stuff. We're really starting to grab some traction. It's kind of amazing to me. So thank you everyone who listen. Like even the birthdays, I do the birthdays. I want people to know that we see them, we hear them. You know what I mean? And we have emails, like tons of emails. So I don't know. Would you guys want to get to like an email? Like I know you read them. Are they urgent? Are they something
I
that you
think
like?
they're very general
Yeah.
and could be talked about encumbered. One of them I think we talked about today,
Mm-hmm.
and encumbered it. But no, I think that they could wait, and we could give people a nice crisp hour and 10
Sure.
this week to digest.
That sounds good to me. Real quick, let's. All right, get your day counter here. I use this. I made this graphic about I don't know 30 days ago or 40 days ago because it says I'm at 426 and I'm almost to 500. So I'm proud of that. Go to Google Play or the App Store and get NA meetings. Just type in NA meetings. This app is difficult to navigate, but it's better than nothing. Meeting Finder, fantastic app on the App Store and Google Play. Yeah, it's this one's a little easier to navigate. So check that out and go on our socials and check out our social media. We got a lot going on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Go to our website, trash-podcast.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Our stuff is current, always up to date, always new content.
Thank you to Tim.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
It's
you
how
do
I
good.
get back. It's how I get back. So yeah, so I think it's good. I think we're doing the right things here. So all right, I think that's about everything. I don't know, boy. An hour and 10. Who cares? A lot of I look at other podcasts and some people go like an hour and 40 minutes. I'm like, who is going to sit for an hour and 40
Yeah.
minutes and listen to you? I would. I expect most of our listeners to be done at the hour mark and not listen to these last 10 minutes. But it is what it is. So. All right. Well, I'm feeling better. I didn't die.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was close. But I couldn't vape. Oh my God. Talkin trash. Say what? Tommy, when you're done this episode, go down to your mailbox. You have
Okay.
a a treat down
Will
there
do.
because your buddy Timmy loves you.
That's neat, but that's creepy.
Yeah, you're right. You got a good point. It's indistinctly marked. Nobody knows that it's
Oh, even more creepy.
All right. I don't want to stop the podcast, but I have to because I'm an adult. So I love everybody. Thank you for listening to Talking Trash Podcast, episode 34.
I get no